Welcome to Inside the Red Jacket, the podcast all about Montana members, chapters, and advisors working to make a positive difference in their own communities. Stay tuned today to learn more about getting started with competitive events for the State Leadership Conference. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today as we learn more about how to get started with competitive events at the State Leadership Conference. I'd like to direct you to first visit the Montana FCCLA website at mtfccla.org. Then you want to look for the Competitive Events tab. As you hover over that title, you'll see other menu items appear. Let's click on Competitive Events and start there. As you scroll down, you'll see information about the different types of events that are available, and you'll notice there are two documents also linked. Let's begin with the Competitive Events Manual. This document provides a comprehensive overview of competitions available in Montana, and I encourage you to read it closely, but I'll provide you a quick summary of some of the information that can be found inside. We do update this document annually, and it's released each fall. If we scroll down a bit, you'll see the table of contents, of course. Page 3 does a nice job of linking all of our separate STAR events to the different career clusters. Page 4 gives a quick look at some of the major changes to this document since last year. So especially if you've been advising students who have previously entered STAR events, you'll want to take the time to review this document so you fully understand any changes that have taken place. Page 5 gives a quick overview of the different types of events, along with links where more information can be found regarding them. Let's take a quick look at each type. The skill demonstration events are offered at the national level for national conferences in July. There are many events, and not all of them are offered each year. Attendees do not need to qualify for this national competition, and they may register for those events beginning in early March through the membership portal at FCCLAinc.org. Each year, National FCCLA does release a very limited number of these events that states may offer at the state level. So when they are offered, these events do not qualify a student for national competition. Please note that not all events are available at either level, and full details can be found on the National FCCLA website. If you keep reading in this Competitive Events Manual, you can get information about which of these events will be available at the State Leadership Conference. The second category on this page is National STAR events. These competitive events are offered at the state level. The top scoring students scoring at least 85% on the rubric are invited to advance to the national competition. Each event is very detailed, so you will want to visit the membership portal and download information regarding each individual event, as well as overall policies. While most of our STAR events take place at the Montana State Leadership Conference, there are 4 online STAR events, and they are described here as well. For these events, students will prepare a project and submit by the deadline, with top entries being invited to compete at the National Leadership Conference in July. The Life Smarts Knowledge Bowl is open to all chapters and begins with an online competition in the fall, with qualifying teams advancing to the national competition in July. More details can be found on the National FCCLA website. Finally, you see challenge lists that are also offered at the national level, with students registering for those when they register for the National Leadership Conference. Now that we are familiar with the competitive events options, let's move on to page 6 with the advisor checklist. Starting early is always a great idea. You want to ensure members are affiliated in the membership portal at FCCLAinc.org, as this is a requirement for both conference attendance and for competition. While in that portal, look for competitive events information and download the needed documents. Review the eligibility information for each event and develop a list of all the members and the events they will be participating in. Several resources to help you and your students learn more about STAR events are also linked on this page. Page 7 outlines important information regarding participation levels, how to register teams with students from mixed levels, the award system, and information regarding participants with an IEP or a 504 plan in place. Page 8 continues with information regarding maximum entries per chapter and identifies that students competing at the national level in an event or winning first place in a skill demonstration event are ineligible for competition in the same event at a later date. Additional information is included regarding parliamentary procedure teams, members competing in multiple events, and additional requirements for our baking and pastry and culinary arts STAR events. As you recall, I mentioned there's a limited number of skill demonstration events offered at the state level. Page 9 outlines those events for this year, emphasizing that space is limited and participation is offered on a first come, first served basis. Other information found on this page includes the process for registering for events and a reminder to advisors to double check registration for accuracy. Be sure students are registered for the correct event and level, as changes cannot be made once the conference begins. This page also includes information regarding fees, substitutions, and the timeline for when participation schedules will be distributed. Finally, events occurring on Thursday are outlined here as well. All other events will be taking place on Friday of our conference. Page 10 shares information about the encouraged but not required orientation video for competitors and reminders that the participants will supply their own equipment and materials and are required to follow the dress code for the event. Participants agree to cite any use of artificial intelligence in their projects and also agree that all work is their own. The process for picking up and confirming STAR events participation at the conference is outlined here, as well as reminders for the students to be on time for the event. Finally, advisors and participants are reminded that students will be scored for the event that they are registered for, even if there has been a mistake with preparing for a different event or using different scenarios or support materials in the presentation. All materials must be at the competition in order to be considered, with no videotaping, audio recording, or spectators allowed during the competitions. Page 11 contains information regarding awards and how national qualifiers are determined through standard deviation. While most STAR events allow for 2 qualifiers at the national level, there are some which allow us to send 3 to represent Montana at the national conference. All of these qualifiers must score an average of 85% and will be recognized on stage. The top entrant in the skill demonstration event for each level scoring 85% or higher will also be recognized on stage. Rubrics and medals are available to advisors following the closing of the awards ceremonies. You'll also notice on page 11 that the decision of the evaluators is final. The page also outlines requirements for attendance at State Leadership Conference in order to qualify for national competition, as well as an appeals process, which is available for any situation with extenuating circumstances. This full policy and the form can be found on page 16 of this document. As we scroll to page 12, you can see a summary of the skill demonstration events we offer this year, along with a description and the levels available. The full descriptions and rubrics are found at the end of this competitive events manual for these events. Pages 13 through 15 contain the same information for STAR events. That brings us to page 16 with the appeals special request policy I previously mentioned, along with the form to be used for this situation. Finally, the event specifications for the skill demonstration events can be found at the end of the document. You'll see it includes culinary food art, cupcake decorating skills, salad plating skills, and the FCCLA knowledge event. That brings us to the end of the competitive events manual, and we will want to click back at this time to return to the competitive events page. Let's take a quick look at some other items there. This is the guide to getting started with STAR events. It will contain much of the same technical information we just reviewed, but is designed to help you support your students as they prepare for competition. As we open it and take a look, we'll see the table of contents. And keep scrolling, you'll see on page 3 a reminder of the different events available there. You'll see a chart identifying which events are held where, and this is followed by another reference to the career clusters, connecting them to the events. If you keep scrolling on page 6, you will see suggestions and resources that can help a member choose the STAR event that might be the best fit for them. Pages 7 and 8 provide more information regarding levels, team and events versus individual events, and the events that require special documentation. Page 9 offers some suggestions regarding communicating expectations with your members, as well as a sample contract template that advisors might wish to copy and edit to fit their own chapter needs. Some recommended deadlines can be found on page 10 with a comprehensive description of the planning process on pages 11 and 12, and a sample planning process worksheet on page 13. For many of the STAR events, rubric points are assigned for identifying a relationship to family and consumer sciences. Page 14 offers some tips on how participants can satisfy this rubric requirement, as well as organizational suggestions. Projects are always stronger with solid thank yous and media releases, and information about those items can be found on pages 15 and 16. Continue scrolling to page 17 to find some general tips to help students make their finished projects shine bright. Specific suggestions for portfolios, displays, and speeches can be found on page 18. Page 19 includes important reminders regarding competition at the state and national levels, and chapter advisors share their advice on page 20 of this document. If we click back once again, we can explore some of the special requirements as we hover over the menu again. Let's look at the additional level 3 STAR event requirements. There you'll see information regarding the baking and pastry and the culinary arts events. For these events, additional verification of an industry training program is required. This means that students entering these events, must submit documentation of completing a ServSafe food handler certification, as well as the work-based hours log prior to the competition. This page also outlines the requirements for programs which meet the definition of an industry training program and the form that chapter advisors can use to register their program for eligibility in these events. While competitive events are certainly a huge commitment, I've personally seen so much growth in students who invest their time into participating. Thank you for your interest in learning more about the opportunities and for encouraging students to participate. We can't wait to see all of you and the amazing projects your students will share at the upcoming State Leadership Conference. Thank you for your time and attention today.